There's so many ways for you to show up online, profit, and make an impact with your business. That's what the Heart-Centered Business Success Show is all about. Inspiring you with stories of generous women and equipping you with real strategies to help your business succeed, because I know you've got a powerful gift to share. Thanks for tuning into the show. Thank you for being here, Trish Russell. Trish is a performance strategist, and I'm so excited for you to get to know her, her business, her heart, and just all about what she does.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so Trish, why don't you just kick us off by telling us a little bit about your business?
Sure. So what I work on is our day-to-day. So I work with women who feel as if they're overwhelmed, they're frustrated, and their day-to-day is just not what they want. And I also, so I really focus on that. And that comes out of my background with military intelligence. We would read reports, and then we would brief soldiers and airmen and pilots and say, hey, you got to get from point A to point B, and this might happen along the way. So how do you counteract that and overcome it? And when I entered the online space in business 2 years ago, I found there was a need where we would, just in our life, laundry, or getting to know people online is a big thing that I help people with. How to connect authentically, how to get an email strategy, how to be consistent, because we all have a dream. We have our to-do list. And then I find a lot of my clients will end up they get to the end of the day and go, did I get anything done? I don't even know what I got done. And so I teach them techniques about that. And through this, I have also been able to deal with, come face to face with a lot of my PTSD, because I'm a combat veteran. And so I'm just now entering into post-trauma awareness and finding these things that I do and help people with in their day-to-day life, whether it's business or how they run their home, also helps people that live post-trauma. So it's all kind of tied in together. But my main focus right now is helping women with their day-to-day and the post-traumas and evolution.
Oh my gosh. I feel like I have 900 questions for you, but I'll try to keep it to like 5. So what came to mind as you were saying that is like, tell me, I feel like so many women can resonate with what you were saying as far as like, like how do I actually perform well day to day, right? Like, how do I have what I want to get done and get it done? But tell me like how, like obviously your military training was a big part of that, but how did you figure out that you were good at that? Like, how did you figure out that like, oh my gosh, this is something that a lot of people struggle with that I actually am really good at?
Oh, I'm so glad you asked that. It's because I think a lot of women don't realize how amazing and incredible they are. And when I went into the online space 2 years ago, I was with direct sales, and that was just such a God thing. And so I went into direct sales and I saw people go, and I got introduced to things. As you guys know, if you've been in it for 3 months, there's stuff you learn about content and showing up and connecting with people. And I would learn it, and then I'd be off to the races. And then I'd find people that I kind of met at the same time, and they were still struggling and they felt stuck. And I would look and I'm like, really? But that just came very natural to me. And these women are amazing and incredible, and I could see what's inside of them. And so I thought, well, maybe they just need someone to sit down and be an accountability buddy and work through it, which again, my military training. And so I figured it out by trying it out and then paying attention. So if there's something you're just naturally good at and you're finding people around you that are stuck and don't get it, that's an opening. Not in a prideful way. That's a skill that you can bring to the table and help people. And what I've loved is, as I do that, my clients, I get to highlight their skills, because they have skills that, bless, I have no idea. Like, no, thank you, not even interested. But because I can help them with like the day to day, they feel more empowered, and then they can go do their awesome. But they have skills I could never even touch.
I love that. And I love that it took some amount of confidence, right? Like healthy confidence to be able to say like, oh, I'm actually good. Like, I'm actually great at like picking something up and learning it and getting something done. And because I feel like so often I don't know, where I picked this up from, but I feel like there's like this false humility of like, oh, we can't like be proud of what we're doing, or we can't be confident in like the gifts that God has given us. Right. But I love that you were like, I'm good at this. And why aren't people like, I think I can help them. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so if anyone has that's listening, if you have that inkling, like, oh, I could help, you could probably help and get paid for it. Just putting it out there, and don't.
Yes. I love that part too. And get paid for it. So was that part come easily to you too? Or was it challenging to pay people for what you were to charge people for what you were good at?
It was very hard for me to charge a logical amount. It was very easy for me to charge, $5,
Yeah.
but the dollar section of Target, but maybe not the Joanna Gaines
Yeah.
or the new Christmas section of Target. I couldn't charge those prices, but I could do the dollar section, no problem.
Yeah. So interesting. So tell us about like how you connected with your first client, or like, what did it look like to bring in that first bit of income in your business?
Oh gosh, guys, y'all can start however you want. It was so bare bones and basic. So I was on Periscope. That's where I started. February of 2016, and I've been doing online videos since then, every week, just about, and every day for a long time. And so I started on Periscope, and I saw that need where people just, theming their days and content and knowing their value. And so I built this course, which I still have, and it's one of my signature courses. And I set it up in MailChimp, had videos go through Dropbox, and I sold it for $25. And I was like, hey guys, if you want this, I'd been on video for 3 months, and they actually had 10 people buy it.
Wow.
And for me, I'm one of those people where I tend to listen to my elders or those who've gone before me. And if one person buys something or opts in, I have this thing where I'm like, oh, everybody needs it, so I'm good. And so, almost 2 years later, I still have that course, and I continue to see the impact. But it was sold for $25, and I did it through MailChimp. And I actually have videos. I documented it all just to show people where I've been and where I'm at now. And it's like in a vault. But it's something I thought about just sharing, because it doesn't have to be perfect. But if you show up with your heart and you show up consistently, I just have found that moves people, no matter how rudimentary your product is.
What would you say to someone who's listening and is like, oh my gosh, that sounds so exciting. Maybe that's the way I want to get my first client too, is not having the pressure to find a one-on-one client, but maybe I just want to record 5 videos and charge $25 for them. Like, what would be your first piece of advice for them?
My first piece of advice would be to show up consistently for 2 to 3 months beforehand to build a relationship so that you can sell.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, if someone's brand new, like, what does that mean? Like, what does that mean to like build a relationship online?
Oh gosh, yes. I love this. This is something, it's actually my other signature course, because I get so excited about that. So in Periscope, it was easy. I just showed up every day, 5 days a week, and had really good content. On Facebook, there's a little bit of a different strategy. So wherever you're at on social media, it doesn't matter as long as you're consistent, and whatever that looks like for you. And so what I would encourage you to do is pick something that's simple, is pick monthly themes. Anna helped me with this. Your 3 core topics. Doesn't need to be everywhere. Just streamline it to 3 core topics. And then have that for a month, and then go over and then break it down to 4. For me, it's streamlining your days. So 1 is, how do you show up consistently, even when it's the holidays? How do you figure out your priorities? How do you stay focused? And then show up in, I usually choose 3 Facebook groups, and I'm engaging and I'm posting. And if I find someone who's the bee's knees and I just think they're really neat, I send them a private message, and I just act like a normal human. Just say, hey, I loved that post. It was so good. Thank you. And I can't wait to see you in HCE some more. That way they don't think I'm pitching them. You always want to make sure that, just because, people might feel awkward, or they're shy, or they're insecure, or they don't know what to do, because you're like, message them and they're like, oh my gosh, which is cool. It's a lot of fun. And then show up in I do personal and business page. I do Instagram. So what I've told my clients, this is kind of like an insider secret, is if you're not sure, do I do my business page? Do I do my personal page? Do I do a Facebook group? I'm so confused. Instagram stories and Facebook stories. And that way, free marketing, because your name always shows up. And you can be there and say, hey guys, this is the thing I learned. And then when you're ready for more meaty content, tell them more meaty content and then sell. You can, Anna has showed us how to do this in her group where just have a PayPal link and you can email them the product and it's so great. But for 3 months, meet people and this is going to sound crazy. If you really want to move mountains, meet 10 people a day. And if you're like, Trish, that's crazy town, 2 to 5. But pick one and be consistent. And then you will work through a lot of that stuff because there will be stuff you work through it's just like dating.
That is so powerful. And I feel like such a great piece of advice because I think a lot of times I see people who launch something like a course and let's just say they're selling it for way more than $25 too, right? Which isn't bad, but they're doing it without that relationship piece, right? And so they're like, why didn't anyone buy my giant course when no one knows what they're doing, right? They don't have that established relationship. So I love that advice of like, literally, okay, so let's do the math. Like if you're connecting with 10 people a day, right? For 30 days, that's 300 people times 3 is like not almost 1,000 people, right? That you are genuinely connecting with. And like, if this were like the offline world, like they call that networking, right? Just really connecting and building relationship. And yes, that sets you up way better to sell something like a course.
Because the other thing too is the gift you're giving yourself by having those relationships before you sell is you are the first time you sell something, all the feelings, label it all the feelings. And when people know you and trust you, you can mess up on an email, you can mess up on a video and you can make it right. And that's the best thing that I did for myself is because I launched it at a price that I didn't call it a beta launch, but I launched it at a price that people like, okay, but they knew me. They knew it was my first thing. I could mess up and then go make it right and be confident in it and go, well, they're not expecting it. It's not a $397. It's not a $597.
Yeah.
So that's a gift you can give yourself because you're going to have a lot of emotions and it's going to be very vulnerable.
I love that. I do think I agree with you. I mean, there's different strategies, but I think it's easier to start with whatever price you feel confident at, right? That way you're not dealing with like, there's already things you're going to be dealing with, right? And so you're like, whatever price you can say, oh my gosh, this is a steal. Everyone needs this course. Everyone like get in right now, right? Like that, I think that helps so much. And then being able to raise when you started raising your prices, how did you find the confidence to raise them?
So what I coach through with people is if they want to launch something, I have a special program I do sometimes with people and it's to get them launched. And what I train on is we launch and then 30 days after that we launch again because usually their initial launch is very similar to what I did. And so I just told myself I had to do it again or I would never do it again. And when it's launched for $25 and it was 2 weeks and it's actually what I didn't even know what I did was like hybrid coaching. So it was 2 weeks of intense coaching with 10 modules. I've restructured the program now. That's a lot for people to take in. Again, newbie. But I knew the value because they had my time. And that's the thing that really helped is they had my heart and they had my time and they had my attention. And so I bumped it up to 97 right after, or 69 or 67 early bird and 97 after that. And now it's just different pricing if it's evergreen or if it's group coaching. So I sell it both ways. But anyway, that's just to give you guys options, not to be pitching my course.
Yeah.
It's just that there are different options where I encourage, if you're going to up it, I would up it, at least double it. Most likely, if you're starting off like I did, where you're like, I just want to make sure people give me their credit card.
Yeah.
That's where I was at.
Totally.
And then I just set a deadline and I just stuck with it.
So good. So in all of that, like, what would you say is your biggest #heart-centered problem related to that or otherwise that you faced in your business thus far?
So this is a big one because I realized it this summer. So I'm looking at my notes real quick. Mine was, I don't have an, as you guys could tell, I don't have an issue not being perfect in my work going out, as long as my heart and my soul and the time is blocked to be with my people. I'm really good, fine with science experiments, as I call them. However, I am a perfectionist in the fact that I measure my success by my results.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I've made a huge shift in my business. I'm a homeschool mom and a military wife. And so sometimes seasons shift and I need to shift my business for that. And so that has shifted and it's been very hard because I think, oh, but I can do this. I'm capable of this. But if I do that, it'll break my family and me. And so for me, it's been, okay, I need to redefine what excellence is. I need to redefine what my measurable goals are. Snuggling with my kids every day, one-on-one, is now a measurable goal. And as terrible as it sounds, it's been very painful to do because I'm more of a other results oriented person. And so it's been a big heart-centered thing to come to the face and accept and learn how to redefine it, because it might be my military background. I'm born and bred, fourth generation, third generation female. So it's in the blood and I just have to change it and what that looks like. And that's been really hard because I have high expectations. Even though my work can come out silly, or not silly, but very rudimentary, the rest of it must be on point and in line and that kind of stuff.
I totally resonate with what you're saying too. And I think as heart-centered women, like our success might look differently than other people in the online world. Like, right, what is successful? And it might be a different income level or like you were saying, like working less or working different hours, or like really shifting and making sure like that we're not just chasing something that we don't really want, that we're actually chasing the life that we want. And what would you say like has been the biggest thing that's helpful for you as you've been readjusting your version of success?
So I read the book Grace Not Perfection by Emily Lay, and that actually like woke me up a little bit. It was like, oh my gosh, because she's very successful in the terms. She just had a big book, so she's like at a whole new level of success now than when I read this. Or so who knows how it would have resonated before her recent success. But she had to like close doors and walk away, and she's a systems person, so it really resonated. And that's when I realized I was a perfectionist, just not the way I thought though, but hardcore since I was like 4 perfectionist. And so what helped when I realized that is to start getting around people who attracted that piece. So for example, I got into one of Anna's programs because I know her style and how she speaks to people, and I needed that spoken into my life. On Instagram and Facebook, they're my business platforms. I take it, my personal and my business are very intertwined. Facebook friends are real for me. And so I follow people that talk about slowing down and family. And they're women who have books published and are speaking on stage. So they're things that I know I'm called to do, but maybe in this season it's not to walk it out that way. So I really encourage that. I also have, the whole inner circle concept, like have 5 people in your inner circle. I have it broken down a little bit just because that's how I am. So I have 5 high level, they have 12 books published, 5 people that I'm constantly following, 5 people that are a little bit closer. And then I have 5 people that are peers and friends in this space that get me, that I can have a heart chat with and go, here's where I'm at. I've really had to restructure and be intentional about it. It's been a transition, and it doesn't just happen. You have to build that in, just like a good diet, just like exercise, honestly, and drinking water. And I would say these people have become kind of, my water. And so just bringing them in and allowing that influence and giving yourself permission to not have all the answers.
I love how practical that is, really being mindful about who you're bringing into your life and like restructuring that if needed. And I've definitely done that too, like unsubscribe from people that I'm like, okay, this, maybe they served me at some point, but at this point in my life, like that's not the message that I need to be subliminally soaking into my heart. Right. And so I love that you have structured mindfully who you're letting into the intimate parts of your heart in those 3 ways.
Yeah. And it's so necessary. I love how you put that, because we do absorb it. Just their name popping up in your email box. You just now absorbed their energy.
Yeah.
So.
Totally. So if people are watching this and they're like, oh my gosh, like I need to get to know this Trish Russell woman more. Like I need to cyber stalk her and just get everything that she has created, including the beautiful course that you referred to. How do they do that?
Well, my website, Unlock Your Intelligence, has my blog. And then I also have a freebie over there. Just click on the blue link, blue box over there. And then I really nurture Unlock Your Legacy. It's a group of women who are just working to have consistency in their life. And right now we're talking about money mindset. And I'm really walking through that with them as a contributor, not a master, which I think is huge because we don't have to have it all figured out to have a voice. So my Facebook group, Unlock Your Legacy, is where you can get, a little bit of coaching from me and just love and encouragement with some really amazing women. We've been together for a long time, and people trickle in, and I just love that it's one of those. It's really just like a sisterhood. They protect the space and they love it, and it's really a safe place. So I really like that. I feel like it's a protected space online.
I agree. I think it is too. Like every time I'm in there, I'm like, these are such, like, I don't even know everyone in your group, but they just seem like such great people, which is, I think, attributed to who you are and how you're showing up in your group too.
Thanks, lady.
So good. Well, thank you, Trish. Thank you for being here and just sharing, just really honestly, like how things got started. I feel like the way that you explained it makes it so approachable and doable.
I hope so. I recorded it on purpose, and I'm thinking maybe when the 1 year or the 2-year anniversary comes up this April, just to show people it was not cute.
Yeah. But it was.
It was. And people loved me for doing that. And that's the other thing. Do it scared, because it empowers another woman to take a step and to believe they can.
So good. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you.